You may begin.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out this afternoon to our workshop. The title of the workshop is Tracking Contract Payments, What You Need to Know. Okay, what we're going to be covering today is roles and responsibilities of the primes and subcontractors for reporting payments. What is the email notification process? The importance of subcontractor payment confirmations, payment discrepancies, Executive Order number 2021-2, who to contact when assistance is needed. First, DPS overview. DPS is the contracting authority for the procurement of goods and services for the city of Chicago. We work together as a team and with our customers to guarantee an open, fair, and timely process by establishing, communicating, and enforcing superior business practices. Let's go with item number 1, roles and responsibilities. What you see here is an overview of what the intent compliance audit process is. It is all based off of a web-based application called B2G, also known as Certification and Compliance, also known as C2. When the payments are compiled on a monthly basis per contract, they are uploaded overnight through a processing cycle, and it goes on to, once the payment is posted, a notification is sent to the prime to notify them that the monthly payments, for example, once this month of March comes to an end, before the 5th of the following month, all of the payments that have been made to a given prime on a given contract get added up and rolled into one total, and it is transferred into the C2 system from the City of Chicago payment system. The prime will in time get a notification email on item number 2. At that point, the person who is the contact for that contract on behalf of the prime will log into the C2 system. Mind you, we're going to go step by step as to how this process works, and enter the payment for the data, the payment data for the subs that subcontracted on this project to support the amount of pay that the prime received on step number 2. We're going to go through that process. This notification will go either by email or go via fax. As part of the process, once this prime logs into the C2 system and reports the prime, the subs, the payment that the prime have already made to the prime, to the subs, the same way as the city notified the prime, the C2 system will notify each sub that a payment has been reported on this contract for this month. Go into the C2 system, log in, assess the payment, and confirm the payment that has been reported. Now, we're on step number 5. As a sub, once you get this notification email or fax, whichever methodology is selected, you have 2 options. 1, you go into, which now we're step number 6, you assess the payments, compare that to your records to see if the payments totally match. Perfect, everything is fine. You click save, confirm, save. We're at number 7. Now, there was no issues. Now there are issues. Instead of creating 7A and B, what I always suggest to my primes and my subs is, before you create and before you hit no, which will create what we call a discrepancy, I encourage everybody to call the person or the prime contact to say, you reported something. I didn't want to create a discrepancy. I need somebody, whoever you speak with, to resolve the discrepancy before it becomes a discrepancy. If you are not in that type of scenario, that you don't like to speak with anybody to resolve this issue, then you're going to say no, and a discrepancy will be created, meaning you don't agree with what's reported. Then at that point, the prime will have a chance to go back and review what they reported. If they still say that's the amount that I pay you, then the system will kick it back to you to say, this is the feedback that we got. Now what's your input? And it's going to go back to the prime. If you didn't agree with what the prime said, that discrepancy will stay open. At that point, the system is going to kick it to me as a compliance officer for me to act on it and try to resolve it. At that point, and we're going to cover this, which is a crucial part of the contract, so we're going to go through that. Once we resolve the discrepancy, it will be clear, and then we just have to wait for the following one. One thing that I need to address in this slide is a step 2 normally is done on the 1st through the 5th of the month. A step 3 through a step 6 has to be done before the 25th of every month. The last thing that we want is to have to get on the phone or send emails to the prime to say you have not reported, or to the subs to say you have not confirmed. That's a violation of the terms and conditions of the special conditions for each one of the contracts. Let's move forward. When we're looking at a step number 2 on this scenario here, the prime gets the notification that the payments that they received on a given contract for a given month have been reported onto the C2 system. In this screen, you can see, and sometimes the prime likes to say, I didn't see that there were discrepancies. If you see inside of the square over to your left, there's total of 7 incomplete audits, 1 that is within the 90 days, and 6 that are over 60 days, the same with the discrepancies. Okay, so now we're going to go into the incompletes, which is the subject of this training right at this moment. We're going to go and hit either the 7, the 1, or the 6. More likely we have to address the one that we're currently working on, so we're going to hit the 1 under less than 90 days. So if we hit that, this is what you will see. Mind you, the total that are supposed to be open is 7. 1 which is less than 90 days, and 6 that are over 60 days. So here they are. Mind you, a lot of our primes have contracts with multiple city agencies. C2 is a national database. So the ability that a prime can access any of the contracts with any of the agencies is a marvelous thing. So here, the one that we are concentrated on is the one that currently has the blue arrow. It's been complete April 20, 2015. The contract number is MKI123, and the title is MKI Test. So we're going to click on complete. On the incomplete, sorry. And this is the screen that the prime is going to receive. It says that they got a payment. And now the prime has to click on the middle of the screen, which says report to be subcontractor payments. Is due by the May 31st, 2015, and the audit will lock automatically 30 days after the due date. Mind you, we allow, because we understand the people that are designated to do this task could be sick, could be out of the office, whatever the case may be. Please note that on the bottom of the screen is the name of the compliance officer over to the left. More likely, if it was one of my contracts, my name, the agency, and my phone number and my email address will be listed there. On the bottom or to your right, that will be the prime's information as to who reported the payment. And in case you need to reach out to somebody, that will be the person that you will reach out to. So let's click on report to the subcontractor payments to see what happens. Okay. You will get the top portion of the screen. You have, as it says here, report 3 subcontractor payments. And here they are. You have 1 MBE and 2 WBEs. It says that you have 3 payments to report. Now, when you want to report, you can either do one individually by click on the submit response, or you can say submit all incomplete records. And the bottom screen will show up rather than splitting each one individually and working on each one individually. You can put in all of the information in just one screen. Let's see what it looks like. This is, I am doing one at a time. You can see we're doing the second sub system construction where it says submit. You click on that button and this is what it shows you. The amount that you got paid, mind you, this is the prime putting the information in. I will calculate, I will have the history of the payments that I made to the sub during that month of April 2015. The payment date, normally if you have multiple payments during the same month, which that could be the case because the city may make a lot of payments to the prime during the month. So every time a payment is issued to the prime, if there's any invoices that were supporting that payment from invoices from the subs would also get paid. So you will put the payment date of the first payment that you received. Prompt payment. We like to keep track of the payments. We normally have a 7-day window. So if you click yes, meaning as soon as the prime got the payment, they disperse the money to you. You have no, in case there's no, that it wasn't made within the 7 days or non-applicable, because you couldn't determine when the prime got the check and you just want to get this done and over with. For the payment details, I like to encourage the primes because it assists in any disputes. Or if I am the sub and this is a heavy contract and you need to reconcile this quickly, if you can provide me the data as to what data you use to come up with the amount that you are reporting, that would be invoice number, my invoice, meaning the sub invoice number, because we're reporting the payment to the sub. What was that sub's invoice number, the invoice date, the amount of the check, and what the check number was? That will make the confirmations a lot easier, and any dispute that may rise out of this, it will be a lot easier for both parties to resolve. If there is way too many invoices, you can attach the file. You can attach a copy of the ACH, copy of the check stubs, or even a copy of a ledger. Okay. If you have any comments that you would like to put, you can also do that. At this moment, you can click submit or save, and that will be submitted. At the moment you click submit or save, immediately Subsystem Construction will get an email in the inbox to say, hey, your prime has recorded a payment for you. Now click on this link, log in, assess, and confirm. Now, if we want to do it for multiples, in here, the prime submitted everything he needed to do for the 3 subs that he has. He clicked on submit. It was submitted. This is the view of the prime. This is if they want to do it individually. On the bottom of this is if they want to do all 3 in one screen, so they don't have to see all of this. They can do it here. This is a more concise version of this screen. Okay. Now, the payment has done its work. He completed the reporting part of the contract. Now, I am the sub. This is what is going to show up on my end. It's going to look just like this, but when I click on incomplete audits as a sub, not as a prime, this is what I'm going to see. See, the title says Subcontractor completes incomplete audits. Now it says, my subcontractor has submitted a payment. I need to log in before the 27th. That was back then. Now it's before the 25th. But if you receive the payment, I urge you that as soon as you receive that email, that you log in, you check your records, and you confirm the payment. So we're going to click on the link provided on the middle of the page, confirm payment received. Let's click on it. This is what shows up. It shows the audit period, who the prime is, what the prior month, what the prior payment was, and what the payment that was made to the prime that originated my payment was. The top portion is informational purposes only. What I care about is from audit information down. It said that they give me $5,000, check number 1256. It was a payment of my invoice 789, and the date of the check was April 2nd, 2015, which falls within the requirement that they are reporting the payments made to me during the given month, during the month of April 2015. So the check was April 2nd, so it falls within that range. Now we need to look at each one of these questions. Confirm the reported amount. Is it correct or incorrect? In my case, according to my book that I'm looking here right now, yes, I did get a check for $5,000. So I'm going to click correct. Final payment. Normally, this is when you know that you have completed your scope of work, whichever that happens to be, construction, professional services, whatever it is. I urge you that unless you're definitely sure, do not touch these buttons. Leave it at no or work on this contract continues. Why? When you click yes to this answer, it will automatically put you out per se, and you will not appear on the next month audit, meaning no, they will not be able to report any payments for you. Is prime withholding any retainage? You are the only one who knows this answer. In my case, because mine is a professional services, I will say no. If I need to attach any files, I will attach the files. If I need to make any comments, otherwise, we're going to save it and move it along. Now, what if instead of 5,000, I show 5,325? Instead of clicking incorrect, okay, I go back up one screen and I will contact the person who is listed on the bottom right and said, hey, you reported the incorrect amount. Can you please verify what you give me? I only have this check. Okay, now you have been proactive, and instead of creating a discrepancy, you are calling the one who reported for them to validate what you are claiming that it was not the amount received. So if you were to, I'm not going to call nobody, you didn't pay me right, so I'm going to put incorrect, save it. That is one that is going to create, let's go back here, and number 6 and 7A and B. Now it's a discrepancy. Now, by you doing so, now it creates extra work. By not calling somebody to say, I am not in agreement with the amount you reported, because now you disagree and you say, it opens a discrepancy just as it is here. Audit discrepancies right on the middle of the page. Now, if I am the prime, when I open the following morning my C2 on my dashboard, I'm going to have a discrepancy. I go and check. Well, this is not the amount. Well, I go and check my books. Yes, it is. This is the amount that I pay you. There is a comment. Save. Now it goes back to the sub to re-review. Nope, this is the amount that you pay me. Nope. Then you put the same comment and you send it back to the prime. At that point, your 2 chances are up. Now it's coming back to me. What I will do, and here's where we are now. I will have to ask you to submit, either of you, a copy of the documentation that you are using, one, the prime, to support what you paid or what you said you paid, and if you are the sub, to support what you said you received. Now there's an issue. There's normally a timeline issue. And that happens quite a lot of times towards the month end. If we're in the accounting business, we know that sometimes we like to run the checks at the end of the month or the Friday before the end of the month. Well, we get the check printed or the ACH. Let's say, like now, we are going to run the checks tomorrow, the last day of the month. We get the checks out. By the time they get to the mailing cycle, they're going to hit the mailbox Friday afternoon, which is the 1st. That means they're not going to get the check until next week, 6 or 7 of the month. But according to my book, I issued the check on the 31st as a prime. I report that payment as issued. But the sub is going to say, no, you didn't give me that amount. I got that payment on the 6th of the month, of the following month. So this is a reconciliation item because the prime did issue the check. Unfortunately, it took longer to get to you because of the mail timing. So when the payment cuts in the middle of this cycle, which is a month end, you will go with what the prime said that they paid you, but that the date on the check. When neither one is willing to resolve, we have to step in. In that case, what we ask is we need proof of payment. What evidence do you need? And I probably have quite a few of them. Is you need to provide me, if you paid me check, a copy of the canceled check, front and back. Normally they come with the bank statement, not the actual check, but the image of the check. If you pay via ACH, I need the ACH that went out with a copy of the bank statement withdrawing the amount of the ACH. And if you create a batch of ACHs, then I need the detail of that batch with the total so that I can compare that total to the bank statement. I urge you, do not create a discrepancy because that creates a lot of work for everybody. Do the right thing, be proactive, call the person. I presume it's always good to hear somebody on the other side of the phone or the line and kind of, hey, I am checking the payment that you made. There was an issue. Can you help me resolve it? Get it all squared away. Then you can go back and they can fix it. And then you can confirm the payment and move it along. Something else that as I am doing this payment discrepancy, if the prime reports the payments before the due date, normally it's prior to the 15th of the month, before any penalties. If you do not do your part as a sub to confirm, the prime will not be granted any credit. That's what we like to allow to the 25th. So the same way as when you get paid, either you're a prime or a sub, you like the money to be in your bank account. The same is an obligation that is inherent of a contract, that is not just getting the work done. There is some nuances to it, and this logging in and confirming the payment is one of those requirements. The contract has a requirement embedded within the special conditions that if we as a compliance officers do see that the payments were not reported nor confirmed, we can notify the user department in payments so the funds can be withheld. So I urge you, please be prompt, check your spam email so you don't have to say that you didn't get it. And please track your payments and do your confirmations on time. Now, last year, March of 2021, there was a new executive order that was issued. We normally rely on the monthly reporting in the C2 system. Why? Because we need to track that out of every dollar that is paid out, what is the contract diversity goals that are associated with that dollar? And every contract has diversity goals, NDE, WBE, BDE, SBI, NDI, whatever the goal happens to be, or what sort of program. We have since implemented a process for the prime to submit on an annual basis a project utilization. Like it's kind of like a forecast. And we don't reach too detailed, but that is the prime's data. And that's the prime responsibility to know when they intend to bring the resources and with at which time within the year, what quarter they will be bringing those resources in. So they will be required to enter. For the second quarter, I'll be doing, or I'll be using these people, and more or less this is how much I intend to use them for. The same for the third quarter, the same for the fourth quarter. Okay, that's one. That's the project utilization report. The second one is once we have that commitment, we need to track how the progress against that commitment is. We're in the process of rolling that out in the production side of the C2 system. That will be the prime will be submitting quarterly reporting. What would that do mainly? It will report to you whether or not or how far you are on attainment of the contract goals. Either you are right on track, you are above them, or you are below them. If you happen to, at the moment that you do that reporting, for example, if we're doing the reporting for this quarter, which ends tomorrow, let's say we're doing it April 12th, you will see, because it will have the data project to date, everything will be added, computed, and it will give you whether or not you are on target with your goals. And if you are not, you will be asked to provide a corrective action plan. Mainly, tell the city with a specificity as to how you intend to meet the goals. Either replace a vendor that's no longer working, add another layer, move monies around, do whatever you need to do. But then that will be coming to the compliance unit along with your quarterly report. The prime will be required to submit annual reports. Also, that will state, will provide a description of the contract bill, the business diversity program, or lack of thereof, how they are spending the money in the goods and services for the minority, from the MBEs and WBEs for the prior year. So that is one executive order that we're taking to heart. We already are collecting the projections and we are rolling out the quarterly report. And I think that's all I have for now. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Gabriel, for that great presentation. And so now we're going to open the session up for questions. So if there's anyone that has questions, feel free to put them in the Q&A panel. If you would like me, since we don't have a lot of people on, this will be a special day for us to unmic and you can ask the question directly to Gabriel if you'd like to do so. So we'll take questions now. And while people are writing their questions in the Q&A panel, and if you do not know where that is, it's at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. You should see Q&A. Go ahead and click on that and then type your question in the box and press the enter key. Or you can go to the three dots if you do not see Q&A. Go to the three dots, click on the three dots, and then you will see a Q&A panel from the menu there. If there are no further questions, we will conclude this session. I'm just going to give a few more seconds for them to write down their questions if they have them. And Gabriel, if you'd like, if you have any final words of encouragement or, things tips that you, people call in perhaps and have been saying, and you have seen that that's a pattern, you want to go and say any of those things, this is the
Sure.
opportunity to do it at this point.
Thank you. One thing is always the person who is responsible has been associated with always doing the reporting on behalf of the prime or reconciling the payments on behalf of the sub. If that person happens to leave that position, make sure that you notify the compliance officer right away, because if we start sending correspondence to that person and that person is no longer there, then some of our requests might go unanswered. The contact of the compliance officer is always in the body of the contract in the C2 system. So always you have the right to call or email at any time. Check your dashboards as prime as a sub, prime, so they can know that they have to submit the payments, discrepancies they need to resolve. In the same, on the side of the sub, payment they have to confirm, review and confirm, and discrepancies that they need to resolve. Always stay on track, stay on top of your contracts, and communicate with your compliance officer so that we all can work together on getting always your contract on top and within the parameters of the contract stated goals.
Okay, I do not see any questions, Gabriel. So I guess everyone got exactly the information that you intended for them to get, because no one has any questions.
Thank you.
So with that said, I just sent a copy of the email, I mean, of the links, I'm sorry, of where you can find the PowerPoint after today. And you can also find the recording of this workshop. If there are no further questions, as I always conclude, stay safe, stay well, and make sure you stay healthy. And hopefully sometime, maybe later on this year, we can be back in person, and so that you can network with us at some outreach event that we possibly will have. But thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you at the next workshop, perhaps next week. Thanks so much and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, Gabriel, as
Thank
well.
you.
Have a wonderful day, everyone.